Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Bitcoin is still running into this significant resistance, we're seeing the price of Bitcoin officially start to play out this new bearish divergence in the short term. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment and what is likely going to happen next for Bitcoin, while the price of Ethereum is still holding above this important Fibonacci level, and the price of XRP is still remaining within this shorter term bearish trend. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin price chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red, so nothing's changed on this chart over the last one day. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, technically speaking, we still have a massive bearish divergence to watch out for on the weekly time frame. So once again, not a lot has changed on this chart over the last one day. So if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, at least for now, the weekly Bitcoin MACD is still declining in bearish momentum, moving closer towards a bullish crossover, which at the current rate, we're potentially another 1 week, maybe 1 to 2 weeks away from confirming a potential bullish crossover here. But as I've already been saying over the last few weeks, we're already clearly within the recovery out of this correction here, at least based on this signal that we're seeing right now. Based on the previous times we've seen something similar in this indicator on this Bitcoin time frame right here, we were already in the recovery in the price of Bitcoin. And then once we actually confirmed the bullish crossover, from that point onwards, we began to see more bullish momentum. So potentially we still have more bullish price action to come in the coming weeks or months once this actually confirms. But for now, if we're taking a look at the 3-day time frame, at least for now, we are still running into this strong resistance sitting in between around 96,000 to 98,000 based on the volume profile indicator, showing a lot of resistance around there, especially around 97,000 give or take. We have strong resistance. And we can also see in the volume profile indicator above approximately 98,000, the volume profile really starts to drop off. In other words, we don't really have a lot of resistance left above the price of Bitcoin, well, really above 98,000. Once again, we still have this strong resistance, but once we can break that level, it's very likely we'll just continue up towards all-time highs once we can actually break this level. But for now, we're still running into that resistance, obviously. And technically speaking, on this daily time frame, we've not yet fully confirmed any invalidation signal to invalidate this bullish divergence, but of course, this has already played out very nicely over the last few weeks, as I've been talking about every day since all the way back down here. But like I've been mentioning more recently here on the channel, of course, we're getting pretty much close and already starting to enter into overbought territories on the daily Bitcoin RSI, which is basically telling us we're getting a little bit too overheated. We've gone too far to the upside too quickly, and we need some time to cool off in the short term in order to reset the RSI, which can potentially give us more room towards the upside later on. And so once again, based on the weekly Bitcoin MACD, this is telling us that the momentum is growing in the bullish direction on the slightly larger timeframes here when we're talking about a period of weeks or months. But just over the next maybe 1 week, it's very likely we will see a little bit of a cool off in the short term to reset this RSI. And of course, that's also due to the fact that we're running into this resistance, as I mentioned earlier, and also this golden pocket area of resistance based on the Fibonacci retracement tool here on the daily Bitcoin price chart. Looking at the linear settings, this places the golden pocket in between around 96,000 to 98,000 approximately, so right in this area of resistance. And of course, the golden pocket is the most important area of resistance based on the Fibonacci levels. So once again, we have strong resistance, especially around that 97k level. So ideally, we need to see a confirmed breakout with at least a daily candle close confirming above 98,000, and ideally, even better, if we flip that into new support, that would be extremely bullish. And once we see that confirmed breakout here, in that situation, the next potential point of resistance is sitting at around 102,000 based on this Fibonacci level. But above that, honestly, I'll be basically expecting all-time highs, or a retest at least of the previous all-time highs for the price of Bitcoin once we can first break out above 98,000 with confirmation. And as for support to watch out for, we have previous resistance flipping into new support at around 93,500 to 94,000. We also have this retracement level acting as a bit of support at close to 92,000, and of course significant support down towards 88,000 if we were to get down there. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, of course, on this 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, as I've been talking about recently here on the channel, we've officially confirmed a new bearish divergence with clearly higher highs confirmed in the price in the candle closes and lower highs confirmed in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is of course a bearish divergence. And so once again, as I've been saying recently, expect as the most likely scenario either a short-term pullback or at the very least a bit of choppy sideways price action. So basically a bit of a cool off, a bit of a reset from all of the bullish price action here, which once again, as I said earlier, can help to reset the RSI here on the daily time frame, which can ultimately give us more room towards the upside to potentially create more of a sustainable bullish movement, a bullish trend. And so that is what I'm still expecting in the short term. And obviously over the last one day, this has already started to perfectly play out as I've been talking about. But once again, continue to expect this at least over the next few days as the most likely scenario here. But of course, if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we still currently have a decent amount of liquidity building at approximately 100,000. So perhaps after we first see a little bit of a short-term cool-off in the coming days, maybe in a week or 2 weeks from now at some point, of course, we could potentially see another little short squeeze to take out this liquidity at close to 100,000. And when it comes to my Bitcoin trading strategy, honestly, over the last one day, it has not changed. So I'm still in the same Bitcoin long position that I've been sharing very transparently here on the channel ever since I entered the trade at approximately 88,000, give or take. And of course, right now my stop loss is still sitting in profits above my entry. And previously I did slightly reduce the size of the trade. So I've already taken a small amount of profits off the table out of this long position. But of course, I'm still currently long on the price of Bitcoin because overall I am more bullish than bearish on the price of Bitcoin. It's just in the short term, for at least the next few days or so, expect a little bit of a cool off as a very likely scenario. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, like what I'm doing right now to easily profit in the crypto market, then of course you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on 2bit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading bonuses, like for example, up to $50,000 in trading rewards. But if you're not one of these larger traders here, you can also claim a $30 sign up bonus and a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT. So for example, if you deposit $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your 2bit account, but only if you use that link. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit as an exchange, there's also BTNex as another exchange out there that I also use. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to BTNex below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can also claim some massive trading bonuses that are only available using that link. Like for example, up to 35,000 in USDT and also a 20% deposit rebate, just like 2bit. So for example, if you deposit $1,000, you get a $200 bonus, but once again, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, the first and second link below this video. And in case you're wondering, BTNex is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, right now Ethereum is technically still within the larger bearish trend, also known as a bear market. So not a lot has changed on this chart over the last one day, but of course we're still bouncing from that significant support and give or take 1,500. And if we're zooming into the daily time frame, we're also still currently holding above this Fibonacci level based on previous Fibonacci support back here, which is once again acting as support again, and that's sitting at around just under 1.8k, around 1790 to 1.8k. So for now, that is the support to pay attention to. And as for resistance, we could find some short-term resistance at close to 1.9k, but the next significant point of resistance to watch out for is at around 2.1k. But honestly, in the short term, at least over the next few days, expect a lack in momentum, especially a lack in bullish momentum over the next few days, because basically while Bitcoin is playing out this bearish divergence, seeing a bit of a cool off in the short term, it's very likely that will affect a lot of the crypto market, Ethereum included. So for example, Ethereum very rarely sees a massive bullish move while Bitcoin is pulling back or chopping around sideways. So basically, while Bitcoin is doing this, expect something similar for Ethereum just in the short term, just a bit of a cool off. And so that is what I'm expecting for Ethereum, and those are the key points of support and resistance to watch out for. But honestly, not a lot has changed on on this chart over the last one day. So getting straight into the price of Solana on the 3-day time frame, and right now, technically speaking, this bullish divergence is still active for the price of Solana, which means overall we're still playing out this bullish relief here, but of course in the shorter term taking a bit of a pause, just a short-term cool off. And if we're zooming into the daily Solana price chart, obviously right now we're still just holding on to this Fibonacci level based on this previous Fibonacci level of resistance, now acting as new support, and that's sitting at approximately 146 to 147. And so for now, that is still the support to watch out for. But if we break below 146 with confirmation, so candle closes below 146, in that situation we could find a small amount of support at around 136 approximately, and below 136 we have significant support down here at approximately 124 to 125. And as for resistance to watch out for, obviously we do have some short-term resistance around here at approximately 154 give or take, and above that we have some more resistance at around 167, more resistance at 179, and significant resistance in between 191 to 200. And so once again, overall we're still seeing a change in this previous bearish trend. Of course, we've seen a change in price structure with this latest higher high, which is some good news for Solana, and of course still playing out this bullish divergence, but just in the shorter term for the next few days, possibly another week, that sort of time frame, expect a continued short-term cool off, a lack in bullish momentum just in the short term, especially while Bitcoin plays out its short-term cool off. But with that being said, taking a look at XRP on the 3-day time frame, and at least for now, the price of XRP is still being influenced by this massive bearish divergence, which confirmed months ago. And of course, I've been warning about this happening since months ago here on the channel, since much higher prices. And so obviously this has been playing out perfectly over the last few months. And of course, it is still affecting the price right now, which means we should not necessarily expect a significant amount of bullish momentum right now. And of course, once again, that's also due to the fact that Bitcoin is seeing a short-term cool off. Expect a bit of a cool off for XRP in the short term, as we're already starting to see, but this will likely continue at least over the next few days here. And technically speaking, XRP is still within a descending parallel channel here on the daily XRP chart, which is effectively a bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows. But of course, during this bearish trend, during the descending parallel channel, we can see short-term bullish reliefs along the way. So of course, over the last couple of weeks, that's exactly what we saw, just a short-term bullish relief during a descending parallel channel. And in order to expect more of a bullish trend reversal, to start a new bullish trend completely out of this bearish trend, we need to see a breakout at least above this line right here, and ideally setting some new higher highs in place and some sort of higher low confirming on the price chart to actually confirm a change in price structure. So at least for now, that has not happened. And as for resistance and support to watch out for, first of all, we have resistance at approximately $2.33 to $2.35 give or take, and more resistance at around $2.45 to $2.50. And of course, this previous high that ideally we need to break out above to set a new higher high, of course, is sitting at approximately $2.60. And as for support, we do have some short-term support at around $2.16 give or take, and below that, more short-term support at $2.05, and of course, significant support all the way down here at around $1.80. And so honestly, not a lot has changed for XRP over the last one day. So getting straight into the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, and for now, Chainlink is still experiencing this rejection from this massive golden pocket based on the previous golden pocket area of support, which flipped into significant resistance right here during the end of March. And of course, this is still acting as strong resistance, perfectly affecting the price of Chainlink, as we could see, and that's sitting in between around $14.90 to $15.50. And so continue to expect the price of Chainlink to struggle in that exact area of resistance, as I've been warning about since all of these perfect rejections here. But once we can see a confirmed breakout with at least a daily candle close confirming above $15.50 and ideally holding that as new support, in that situation, that would be extremely bullish for the price of Chainlink, because that would be the first significant change in price structure from this larger bearish trend. Obviously, if we form a new higher high, that'll be a massive change in price structure. And in that situation, it's very likely we'll see a quick bullish move up towards around $17.50 to $17.60 as the next important resistance. But in the immediate short term, once again, as I've been saying saying throughout this video, expect a continued short-term cool-off, so most likely a little bit of a pullback here, or at the very least, maybe some choppy sideways price action is a very likely scenario, especially while Bitcoin plays out the same in the short term. But even if we see a little bit more of a pullback for the price of Chainlink, that's not necessarily all bad news, because as I've been mentioning over and over again recently here on the channel, we are possibly forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern here, which for now obviously is not confirmed. We still need to see a further pullback and then a bounce and a breakout above 1550 in order to confirm that. But overall, not a lot has changed over the last one day. But once again, if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities in the price of any crypto, check out those links below this video. So those exchanges, if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto, no matter what the price is doing, whether we're bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, if you want to easily profit like what I'm doing right here, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.